Practice Listening Test 3. This is a practice listening test by BetterThink, a TCY program that resembles the International English Language Testing System listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer the questions on what you hear. There would be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. Write all your answers in the listening question booklet. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1 of Practice Listening Test 3. Section 1. Listen to a conversation between a student and a manager of a bookstore that also sells second-hand books. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example which has been done for you. On this occasion, only the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Excuse me, can I speak to the person in charge here?
Why, yes. What can I help you with?
Yes. My name is John, and I need some help, please. I'd like to order some books that I need for my courses.
John says, I'd like to order some books that I need for my courses. So the answer is, some books. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Excuse me, can I speak to the person in charge here?
Why, yes. What can I help you with?
Yes. My name is John, and I need some help, please. I'd like to order some books that I need for my courses.
Well then, hello, John. Pleasure to meet you. You have certainly come to the right place. What can I help you with?
Well, as I said, I need books for my classes, and the new texts are too expensive. A friend of mine suggested that I can get second-hand books from you, but only if I place an order beforehand.
Yes, that is correct. We can get you second-hand books, but we have to order them as we do not keep them in stock. What books do you need?
Yes, I definitely want to place an order. I just don't know what the procedure is.
Well, you needn't worry. I'll help you write up the order. The procedure is pretty straightforward. All you need to do is fill out this short form. Now, I need to know which books you want. Do you have the information regarding all the books you need, particularly the subjects?
Yes, I have all the information right here.
Very good. Now, do you also have the course codes for those subjects?
Yes, I do. All right here. I had to look those up from the university website.
Great. Now, I need you to jot down all of this information in the blanks on the form right here. You will also need to put a check mark in front of subjects for which you require textbooks. Also, you said you are interested in second-hand books, correct?
Oh, yes. Used books are what I want, including textbooks. If possible, I'd prefer to have all the books as used.
Okay, no problem. I'll just need you to put another check mark in the column titled Requirement of Used Books. It's right here on the form, see? Now, after you fill out the form, just sign it and bring it back to me.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10.
Okay, that sounds easy enough. I still have a question. Do I need to pay for the books right now, or can I pay after the books are delivered?
You can pay either now or upon delivery. However, we do require that you pay 10% of the total cost as a deposit, which will be adjusted once the books are delivered.
That sounds great. When would the books be delivered?
There is no fixed date for that, but you would for sure receive them at least a week prior to your classes, if not earlier. We do need time to locate them and then have them shipped to us.
Well, what if I change my plans? Well, I don't intend to, but what if?
I know, it happens sometimes. Don't worry. If your courses get changed, or you drop a course, you can always come back and return the respective books. Make sure you bring the original receipt and photo ID.
That sounds perfect. Can you help me fill out the form?
Sure, hand me the form and I'll fill it out for you. What's your full name?
John Hopkins.
Is that Hopkins?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, what identification are you attaching to the form?
I'll be using my passport. Is that fine?
That would be fine. Do you remember your passport number?
Yes, one moment. I have it written down. It's K1039P.
K1039P. Got it. What subjects do you require?
I need organizational behavior, company law, and general insurance.
Right. Now, how do you wish to make your deposit? You can use credit, debit, or cash.
I'll pay cash.
Okay, that's all I need. I'll ring you up as and when I have something for you.
That is the end of Section 1 of Practice Listening Test by BetterThink, a TCY program. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 2. Listen to a presentation from the director of a museum about the museum details and the facilities on offer. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen to the first part of the talk and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hello, students, teachers, and I see we have some parents as well. Hello to you. My name is Eliza Burke, and I am the curator and director of the Poole Museum of Natural Science. Welcome. The Poole Museum is the latest museum in the city. I'm glad to meet with all of you, so that I may explain and describe to you all the wonderful and delightful attractions the Poole Museum has to offer. I'd like to first provide you with information about the museum's status. Since its opening, the Poole Museum has been one of the top 5 attractions within the city. In fact, it is one of the top 3 attractions in the entire Washington metropolitan area. Not only that, we also receive guests from all over the state and country, and even international guests. Last month, we conducted several tours for groups from such places as Japan, India, and Germany. The Poole provides a number of educational programs, exhibits, and other activities for students and everyone else. While you do have to pay an entrance fee, all the activities are free of charge, and anyone, no matter what age, can take part. The Poole Museum of Natural Science is all about learning and teaching, and every one of our guests, no matter whether a student, a teacher, a child, an adult, a professional, or a labourer, everyone is considered a student. The museum is comprised of 16 galleries, 14 theatres, and 200 video screens. The Poole is open every day from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and is closed on Thanksgiving Day, Christmas, New Year's Day, and the 4th of July. Bookings for guided and group tours can be done online. You can also purchase tickets online. The Poole has a lot to offer. Every gallery has interactive features. The gallery part of our technology exhibit features the development of mass communication, particularly in this area of technology. This includes the showcasing of blogging and social networking sites. However, the Internet, TV and radio section of this gallery also presents broadcasts from the past. There is also a stall which offers everyone a chance to be a reporter or a TV news anchor. Visitors can read the news in front of a camera and, for a small charge, can receive a copy of the recording. The video recording done while they are performing in front of the camera can also be downloaded from the museum's website at a later time. Other galleries showcase artifacts and models of different fields of natural science. There are 5 levels of the museum, and these are all packed with interactive exhibits for visitors of all ages. The museum has a shopping gallery which offers exceptional gifts and replicas of all of our exhibits. It offers books and recordings as well as other gift items. It also offers framed prints of famous news photographs. The main objective of the museum is to provide each visitor with a deeper understanding of our nation's history.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Annual membership to the museum comprises of unlimited free admission for the whole year, along with priority seating for all the different programs. Furthermore, you get a 10% discount at the food court. There are a lot of things offered under the membership program. Individual membership fee is $65, and family membership of up to 2 adults and 3 children is available for $180. While general prices seem a bit high, it still is very enticing for hundreds of people each day. Special discounts are given to schools and other groups. There is a lot for students to do at the museum. Wheelchairs and mobility scooters are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Assistive listening devices are also available on special request for use through the museum. The environment at Poole is very warm and welcoming. There are certain policies which must be followed, of course. Photography is welcome throughout the museum, except in certain areas that are posted. Smoking is prohibited, as well as weapons. Inside the exhibition hall, food and drinks are not allowed. Animals are not allowed, except for service animals.
That is the end of Section 2 of Practice Listening Test by BetterThink, a TCY program. Now you have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to Section 3.
Section 3. You will now hear a conversation between a university professor and a student. The student is seeking clarification on a question that she got wrong in her exam. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now, listen to the first part of the conversation and answer questions 21 to 24.
Hello, Professor. Do you have a moment? That is, if you have some time to spare.
Hello, Maria. I do have a meeting in 30 minutes, but I can spare a few minutes for you. Come on in. What can I do for you?
Thank you, sir. I'd like to discuss something with you.
Sure. What's on your mind?
Well, I'd like to discuss a question from the midterm exam. I got the question wrong, but I don't understand why.
Certainly, we can talk about that. By the way, I want to congratulate you for scoring so high on the test. Very few students have scored as high as you did. Now, what was the question you wanted to ask about?
Thank you, sir. It was a tough test. But really, I'm very anxious to know why I missed that one question, and I would be very glad if you could help me with it. I just don't understand where I went wrong.
Sure. What is the question?
Here, sir. I've brought the test paper with me. It's question number 7. That's the one I wish to go over.
Okay, let's see. Well, the question is on biotic provinces and biomes. Many of the students got this wrong. I think I'm going to need to give another lecture on this topic in the class, since so many students missed this. Anyway, let's discuss it right now. So, how did you attempt the question?
Well, I defined biotic province as an area where there is similar life. However, it does have boundaries. These boundaries work by preventing plants and animals from expanding their range into other regions. As part of my answer, I also cited example of a mammal that may have a genetic ancestor in common with another mammal. I then approached biomes and explained that they are like ecosystems, and these are comprised of all the parts of a particular environment, such as a desert, ocean, or a tropical rainforest.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen to the second part of the discussion and answer questions 25 to 30.
Very good. Now, up until this point, your answer was perfect. However, if you look here, you will see that the question has 2 parts. Unfortunately, you only answer the first part and not the second part. Now read this. The second part was to explain the concepts of convergent and divergent evolution. Do you have any idea what the answer to this second part might be?
I think I do. Let's see. Convergent means to come together. And that means that different species living together evolve because of the adaptation to the evolving environmental characteristics. It also means that different species are evolving as one. Now diverging means to separate or grow apart. In this context, that would mean that populations with similar ancestors diverge due to geographical circumstances, and this influences their evolution.
Right, but you also need to mention what kind of geographical circumstances influence these evolutions.
As far as I know, Professor, climate plays a vital role in influencing these evolutions. But I don't know all of the factors that combine to form climate.
Now, there are a number of factors which contribute to create climate. We'll start with temperature and rainfall. These change with the seasons. Also, there are other factors such as proximity to water, latitude and longitude, direction of prevailing winds. These all combine to determine the climate of a locale.
I actually knew the answer to this question, but the problem was that I completely overlooked the second part of the question.
I thought so. This should be a lesson for you to recheck all the questions.
I see your point, Professor. Well, I will definitely recheck the questions from now on. You know, I really like biology, and I've decided to pursue masters in the field.
In that case, you would be attending my upper division classes. By the way, all the best to you for your other exams.
Yes, sir, and thank you. I'll certainly make sure to read the questions thoroughly.
Good, I'm glad.
That is the end of Section 3 of Practice Listening Test by BetterThink, a TCY program. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to Section 4.
Section 4. Now, listen to part of a talk on oral cancer and answer questions 31 to 40. You have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now, listen to the lecture and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon, class. Today, we're going to talk about a very serious illness. It affects many adults and yet is utterly preventable. I'm speaking, of course, about oral cancer. Oral cancer refers to any cancer that develops in any of the parts that make up the mouth. This could be the lips, the tongue, gums, cheeks, palate, or any other part of the mouth. Approximately 40% of all oral cancers are found in the gums, and 60% are made up of squamous cell carcinoma. This is typically found on the lip or the lateral part of the tongue, but can be on the inside of the cheeks. Doctors cannot always explain why one person develops oral cancer and another person doesn't. However, we do know that this disease is not contagious. You cannot catch oral cancer from another person, so you can't get it from sharing food or drinks with another person, unlike other communicable diseases. Oral cancer, in this sense, is a non-communicable disease. There are, however, certain risk factors which can contribute to its origin and growth. These risk factors include tobacco use, alcohol, ultraviolet light, and/or a history of head and/or neck cancer. Tobacco use is predominantly the #1 risk factor for this cancer, and it doesn't matter whether you smoke it in the form of cigarettes, pipes, or cigars, or you chew it. Therefore, you should avoid smoking cigarettes, pipes, cigars, as well as chewing and dipping snuff. This is the #1 risk factor for oral cancers. Sunlight exposure, particularly prolonged exposure, predisposes the lips to developing cancer. This can happen when a person works all day outside or exposes self to too much sunbathing. We apply a sunscreen or sunblock to expose parts of the skin if we are going to be exposed for long periods of sunlight. However, most people do not consider their lips. A person should use a lip balm when outside. Now, the risk of lip cancer is increased if the person also smokes, and the risk increases significantly if a person both drinks and uses tobacco. It is important to note that over 25% of all oral cancers occur in people who do not smoke and who only drink alcohol occasionally. This is interesting because this points to other possible factors. The most likely suspect in this case is a genetic factor, but so far studies are inconclusive. The good news for those who have or get oral cancer is that the overall 1-year survival rate for patients with all stages of oral cavity and/or pharyngeal cancer is 81%. This type of cancer is, if well treated, highly curable. Now, let's talk about the symptoms of oral cancer. First off, a regular checkup with your dentist is a good time to check for signs of cancer. The exam should include a close inspection of the roof of the mouth, the back of the throat, and the insides of the cheeks for either white or red patches. Other problems which can indicate an oral cancer would be bleeding from the mouth and loose teeth. If any white patches or red and white patches are found in the mouth, these are telltale signs of possible oral cancer. Should these patches be observed, the dentist will most likely order a biopsy to determine whether or not they are malignant. The dentist must also rule out other causes for these patches, as these are also associated with infections. If you notice any white or red and white patch or patches in your mouth, it is recommended that you visit your dentist or doctor immediately. If an exam shows an abnormal area, a small sample of tissue will generally be removed for a biopsy. Usually, a biopsy is done under general anesthesia. With the inception of the 21st century, many treatments for oral cancer have emerged and evolved. Common treatments involve specialist surgery, radiation therapy, and/or chemotherapy.
That is the end of Section 4 of Practice Listening Test by BetterThink, a TCY program. Now you have 30 seconds to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.